Be warned, there will be spoilers ahead. Mini spoilers. The entire thing might be spoilers. View this as a conversation of nothing but spoilers. You have been warned. Hello everybody! Do I look tired to you? I ask because it's dark outside. Why does that matter? Because I just got back from the midnight release of The Cursed Child. It is about 1 in the morning and I don't plan on going to sleep anytime soon because I'm too freaking excited about this freaking book. What I think I'm going to do is read it, of course, and have my camera handy and turn it on if I just feel like talking about something. I kind of want to document this for myself, but I also want to kind of converse about what this is about because this is the next step in the series. I'm gonna say right now, don't know how I feel about it, just that it's a script and it's a play and it's not a novel technically. Regardless, I'm excited and I'm just excited for more material, published physical material. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up and get right into the book because I'm too excited. Just finished Act 1, Scene 1 and 2. It's looking good, it's moving fast through scenes. Just taking into account the idea that this is a play, I think plays are limited to a certain amount of stage pieces slash scenes. What are sets? They're limited to a certain amount of set pieces and all that kind of stuff they can do. But so far they're changing the sets pretty quick. And for the Harry Potter world, I think the setting and the environment is very, very, very important to the magic and the feel of the entire piece. So the fact that we're moving so fast through all these sets so far, and only the first like 14 pages, makes me feel really optimistic and excited to just be experiencing this again. Ginny asked if they're going to be okay. Ron said, "It's big, wonderful, full of food. I'd give anything to be going back." And we are. It's weird that Albus, I guess, is worried about being put into Slytherin. Not so much like his dad though. His dad was just as worried. What do I think will happen? I don't think he's gonna say anything to the Sorting Hat. I think he's gonna get put into Slytherin. What is also interesting to me is James seems to be like his grandfather James in that he's kind of a little mean. We all, think Harry's amazing, so his dad must have been amazing, but James Potter was very mean towards Snape, and he seems kind of condescending or mean towards Albus so far. So I'm really interested to see where this relationship goes. I don't think JK can sort all of her people into either Gryffindor or Slytherin this time around. She's gonna have to put them somewhere else. And I will be very interested to see where Rose goes. She is very, very interested in Quidditch and also her owls. So knowing this, she's gonna be really smart and really ambitious. And like Ron said, he doesn't know where she gets her ambition from. Obviously, her mom. Setting up these big questions. Will Albus get put in Slytherin? Where is Rose gonna go? Will they be okay? Obviously they're not, because this whole thing needs some conflict. But within the first 14 pages, it's looking extremely optimistic. Dude, Scene 3, Act 1. This is awesome. I can already tell that this is going to be... How do I say this? I've tried multiple times and I've cut them out. I have a feeling that this is going to be more grown up. I can already tell that there are themes being placed down. Already, Rose and Albus have split on the Express. The rumor has been dropped that Scorpius Malfoy might be Voldemort's child. They're bringing the Time Turner back in there. Rose is just so funny at the beginning of this. And Albus says, "Do we have to choose who we're gonna be friends with for the rest of our life, like right now, like our parents did?" And she's like, "Yeah, we do." It's akin back to the originals when they were first on the train because they just happen to be that way. But it's also like these kids that have these expectations put on them and they recognize that and they're so young. And it's almost like being child stars, like Harry was a child star, but these, 3 kids that are going to Hogwarts now, and probably Scorpius too, all child stars at their school and everybody's gonna know who they are. I knew as soon as Scorpius was introduced, they were gonna split Rose and Albus. Albus is going to see it from a different perspective. My guess is that Albus is gonna want to be on Slytherin now because he sees what a Gryffindor is, which is Rose, who wants to split him up from somebody who's like Scorpius, who seems like a nice kid. He's not just looking at face value. Also, Scorpius, as a child, if he is Voldemort's son, Voldemort as a kid was a little peculiar. Let's get that straight. He was a little weird. He could do weird things, but he was similarly innocent. but who knows where that character could go. Also, who knows where Albus could go. We're going down this bunny hole. It seems much more literary this time around. There's no good yet, there's no evil yet. This is a new slate for the whole series. But in the previous books, Harry, Ron, Hermione, good guys. Voldemort, Death Eaters, bad guys. Clear distinction between good and evil. But here, that's the thing we're gonna be playing with. I'm excited to see where that goes, that blurry line, and how James then reacts to his brother Albus, who I'm predicting is going to be a Slytherin. Called it Slytherin. Albus is Slytherin. Oh dang, he's Slytherin. And let's just listen to this reveal again. I literally had to read it like this because, like, reveal it, because if I didn't, then my eyes would have skipped down and just read because I couldn't keep myself from it. He puts his hat on Albus's head, and this time he seems to take longer, almost as if he is too confused. Slytherin! There's a silence. A perfect, profound silence. One that sits low, twists a bit, and has damage within it. I knew it was coming, but it's still a good reveal. Okay, so Albus's first year completely gone by in an instant. My only concern is that they're seen again on platform 9 3/4, about to go off to Hogwarts again, and only now is Harry asking his son Albus, why don't you like being around me? Like, why do you think you're disappointing? Like, why are they only now having this father-son talk about him being a Slytherin? That's my only concern, but I guess we're getting it now. Time has rushed by, but I thought it would kind of happen earlier in the summer when they went back home. Anyways, small thing, something just to throw in there to mention. Maybe Harry isn't the best at being observant, but he seems like a good dad at this point. All he wants is for his son to be happy. He doesn't care who he hangs out with. So, good fathering, but maybe it's out of his reach at this point. I don't know, just a note to self. Yo, this one gets a big pouty face, dude. What is going on? It's already Albus's 3rd year now. Lily just got put into Gryffindor house. And Rose is trying to keep up pretenses with Albus in front of their parents. What is this? You think that their children would be better about it, that would be more understanding. But, I mean, look, maybe that parenting decision and the fact that 3 years has passed and this is still going on, it could be child's play. 1. Could be bad parenting. 2. But let's be real. How much could your parents influence you back in the day, you know? 3, what I see this being is a story about bullying at this point. Scorpius's mom is about to die. We can already tell she's getting real bad. This is gonna be crazy. I know we're already in for a ride. It's already gotten dark. This stuff is dark. This kid is like severely depressed. And he said at the very end of this one, I didn't ask to be his son. I can already tell this is gonna go in like a real south direction. But, like the Sorting Hat said, are you afraid of what you'll hear? Afraid I'll speak the name you fear? You'll learn to laugh if first you sob. Albus will learn to love it later and laugh at it later if he's sobbing right now, which he is. Well, maybe laughing could mean, you know, mwahaha laugh, like evil laugh. It's getting rough, guys. This is getting rough. Prediction. Quick. Amos Diggory showed up at the Potter household and he's like, Harry, gotta let me use that time turner you just got from the knot to help me go back and get Cedric to stay alive. Albus is like on the steps, getting closer and listening. I'm just gonna predict right now that Albus is gonna steal that time turner and do some wacky stuff with it. Note it. Note it down right now. Oh no! And you think that was unlucky? I don't. You wish me dead? No. I wish you weren't my dad. Well, there are times I wish you weren't my son. Oh no! That's not what you say to your depressed child. Ooh! Question. Do I think that this is just creating drama, or do I actually see these characters saying these things? Let's be real, I think Harry has never completely had control of his temper. I think that's something that JK has always done very, very maturely and well. You know, she never made Harry this perfect child, and we saw it in the last when they were all carrying the Horcrux. He got especially mad when he was wearing it, but he also got mad when Ron was wearing it, and Ron was ungrateful, and he should have been patient. And I think patience is something that he kind of lacks sometimes. He does have a temper, and I can't say that this is an unrealistic situation for his character. I think the knocking over of the love potion and the lucky blanket is, you know, some foreshadowing or just some kind of symbolism, you know, just lightly sprinkled in there. You know, and he says, no love or luck for me. And look, his dad was trying to help. He was trying to be nice. You know, Albus is alright. Like, what do you expect? For us to hug? Like, for me to say I loved you my whole life? I don't feel that way. And he can't lie about that, you know? And the way Albus handled it too, he just like nodded a little bit, like, yep, I knew this was coming. And I was like, I don't blame you. That's when you know you messed up, man. Wow. He's only 14. Only 14. Let's continue. Okay, so I was right to some extent. Albus wants to steal the time turner and go save Cedric Diggory. Huh. But, okay. First off, I'm glad that he is acting like a Potter at this point. He's trying to save somebody. He's trying to make a difference. He's ambitious, and he has a purpose at this point. All up until this point, he's just had no purpose and had nothing to feel like good about himself for. I can't blame him for wanting to do something in spite of his dad. He wants to help another dad, but his motivations towards wanting to do this is what concerns me, because he doesn't really realize what happened to his dad in this moment. He just thinks that his dad is a giant meanie butt, you know? Not completely true. Doesn't really understand the magnanimity of the situation that was. And I will predict that this is something they come to find, but for right now, he has to figure this out on his own. However, they are fourth years, which I guess Harry was doing some pretty crazy stuff his fourth year, but they're gonna try to like break into the ministry and steal this time turner? What? Also, maybe another theory is that Harry is gonna try to go back in time to change something about his son. Maybe this is gonna turn into like a giant time turning story. I don't know. Who even knows where this is gonna go at this point? Just a little small comment. I would like to say that the humor is good. One of my concerns was that the humor would be a little too modern, just because certain movies I've seen recently have made their humor a little too modern, and it's kind of taken me out of the immersion of a story, especially in like a sci-fi fantasy setting. Just wanted to say that this is doing pretty well. Fits the characters, doesn't take me out of it, feels good. So Delphi, Albus, and Scorpius broke into the Ministry of Magic and into Hermione's office to get the time turner. Also, Albus has committed a slight bit of incest and kissing his aunt about 500 times. It's going pretty well. Made it to the end of Act 1, so I'm now about to begin Act 2. So far, my thoughts are misunderstanding, wrongly taken action, more misunderstanding. This could go way worse very soon. I like what they did with the trolley witch and her being there for 190 years. It kind of gives a minor character some backstory and makes the world even more expansive. It's a pretty cool thing. And her spiky arms, which were particularly spiky. I will be interested to see how they go about finding Cedric and changing this and then altering the butterfly effect and everything that will ensue with them even existing in the past. Because at this point, it seems inevitable that they will be going into the past. And it's interesting too how all of this leads back to the Diggorys. The main conflict thus far seems to be Albus wants to get back. Albus wants to fix something that his dad did to prove that his dad isn't perfect like everybody thinks he is. But the only reason they're doing that is because Amos Diggory came to their house that one night, and therefore the plot has taken a significant turn, all because he randomly showed up at Harry's house one night. A little bit of a coincidence that, you know, kind of turns the entire plot around, even though it's kind of a very subtle thing. Delphi is a cool character because at first she talks to Albus on the stairs. She seems really cool. She seems relatable. She seems like she's being nice to Albus, like she's trying to make sense of things with him. However, it seems like she blindly follows whatever will make her uncle happy. And she is also one of these conspirators. I don't know where she stands. However, on one side, Scorpius, like Draco said, he is a follower. I think he can differentiate between this is good, this is bad. But he's still a follower, so he follows Albus, who doesn't really get that. He can't really get that outside perspective on things. So all of these characters are super interesting thus far, and I'm rather enjoying it, to say the least. I kind of miss Hogwarts. I hope they go back there and just kind of get to skulk around and do some of that cool stuff. This is definitely not a nostalgia trip, I don't think. It's pretty heavy on nostalgia. Some of the things are reminiscent, but at the same time, it could be so much worse. I didn't even think this book would get past the first year of him being in Hogwarts, and he's already on the 4th year, you know? So it's not like they're just trying to cash grab at the old boarding school story, which is great, They're moving on from that a little bit. But I still miss it because I'm a fanboy, you know, and like as fanboys, we kind of miss those things. I yet do not have that perspective to add to the story of being like a day or two after and saying, you know what, I'm glad they didn't go to Hogwarts. Because my immediate gratification brain that wants Hogwarts to be back in the picture is not getting that, you know, those neurons firing that, man, we're back at Hogwarts, like this is so cool, like everything's happy. It's not happy. It's kind of weird, you know. Hogwarts doesn't have that connotation. It might be a bright place, but looking at it through the eyes of this Albus character, it's not particularly bright anymore. Like he recognized also, you know, Dad, I know this was the greatest thing for you, but check it out. It sucks for me. Can you believe it? So it's rather complex and it's making me think a lot. Time update is about 3 o'clock, so it's been 2 hours and I just got through Act 1. How do I feel sleep-wise? Yeah. I kind of want to sleep a little bit. I kind of don't want to finish this too fast because I don't want it to be over, and I also want to kind of sit down and be able to process it, but I also just want to consume it all in one go. I think I'll at least get to part 2 before this night turns out. I'll go from there tomorrow maybe. I think it'd be super cool to sit down and say, you know what, I got back from the midnight release and I read it without going to sleep. But sleep is important. And it is important to your body and its happiness and its willingness to do anything and do anything happily. And so I would love to consume this book with a happy mind. And so I'm making this decision with you guys. I'm gonna sleep after I get to part 2. Alright, so they went back in time to the Triwizard Tournament and thought Hermione was Rose, but Hermione was Hermione. Wonder if that's gonna change anything. Wonder if we'll find out. Wonder if we'll find out exactly what words cause which reactions in the near future, now present. Wonder if Diggory died. Now Ron is wearing a suit or something like that. Ron seems to be the only one that's changed for now. It would be interesting if Harry was actually purposefully neglective of his son, and he was just a completely different father at this point. I don't know, we'll have to see. This seems to be turning into a butterfly effect kind of story. It seems as though JK has taken the criticism of, you know what, the Time Turner would completely break the entire series, and has brought it back into the world. And I wonder if critics and naysayers and haters are gonna be like, oh my gosh, like this device could have been used, like they could have done this, they could have done that, and they did it, and the story could be different. I don't know. We'll have to see where it takes us. I wonder if this Time Turner will be a mechanic in the rest of the story and the plotline as well, or if they will find it and kind of get, you know, clear of it. We'll have to see. Only time will tell. No! No, Harry! No! No, dude! What are you thinking? It's not good! God! Harry sees Dumbledore up on the wall, and he's like, dude, I need some advice. And he's like, you have to help him meet life. And what does Harry say? What does Harry say? Look, allow me to say, look, I need you to stay away from Scorpius Malfoy. You're trying to help your son. You're trying You're not even trying. Are you trying, dude? You gotta be understanding. You have to, that's what Dumbledore tells him to do. Like, be understanding, man. What does he do? You can't hang out with your best friend anymore. I don't want you doing that. I don't want you to have that best friend. You're literally gonna take everything away that your son has. Sorry, I didn't even finish this scene yet. I couldn't help it. I had these feelings. I don't understand. That seems kind of out of the blue. I don't know. Well, what do other people think about this? Would he actually say that? Maybe I just need to read more. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. That's bad. Okay, update. Like 10 lines later, Albus says, Scorpius, dangerous? Have you met him? Dad, if you honestly think he's the son of Voldemort. Harry says, I don't know what he is. I just know you need to stay away from him. Bane told me. Who's Bane? A centaur with profound... Okay, so Harry now thinks that Scorpius is the person that is giving Albus the black aura around him. It's you, dude. It's you. Are you that vain? Are you really that vain? Harry, it's you. You're the problem. So now Ron is married to this chick named Padma. Padme, anybody? But Padma is supposedly, I don't know, she's a little no fun. She doesn't let Ron have any fun anymore. He does not know any jokes anymore. He's not married with Hermione. This makes me very sad. And then he says to Scorpius that they can't be friends anymore. That they shouldn't see each other anymore. He's throwing rocks at him, dude. He's throwing rocks at him. It's the only way you can make best friends go away is if you actually like hurt them. Dang it, guys. The only reason I'm hopeful for this is because now Albus is gonna realize, like, hey, you did something wrong, buddy. And he's gonna think to himself, things were better the way they were before. And he's gonna try to fix it. And maybe it's gonna go all wrong. Maybe it's gonna mess up the whole dimension. But Harry Potter can't be left like this. The whole story can't be left like this. Ron can't turn into somebody who's no fun. So I know it's gonna change before the end of the story back to normal again. Like, it has to. I'm calling it. It has to. But I wonder if all of this is gonna get resolved by the end. I mean, there's really no giant looming problem yet. We have this character problem with Albus. We have some kind of impending doom from Harry's scar, but nothing too big yet. And I wonder if in half more of the script, you can really fit all of that in there. Can you introduce a rising of Voldemort again? Can you introduce Albus going all the way to the dark side only to come back to the light side later? What can you accomplish in such a short span of time and make it all end up happy again? Or, what I would be okay with is if it ends in complete disarray, Albus is turned to the dark side, and then it ends, and something emerges, and then there has to be another play. There has to be another sequel. You know, I don't want to be one for prolonging a series too long, but if they can keep the quality up, then why not? You know, like, why not put more media out there for people to enjoy? I mean, if I'm enjoying this, and it makes me smile, then I don't see a problem with it, you know? If I'm having this much fun reading a book, what is the problem with making more of it? I'm on Act 2, Scene 12 so far. A lot could change, but I like showing the progression of my thoughts. And I don't know, I hope they're kind of enjoyable. Let's see where it all turns out, eh? Let's keep going. So after the fight in the kitchen with Draco and Harry, I am pleasantly surprised with how things are going. There are points when some things feel kind of rushed, and obviously if they had more time, then they wouldn't cut short these conversations and they'd make them more deep and long and drawn out so that the character changes and the beats wouldn't have to happen so quickly and it would seem a little bit more human. And that's strictly because of pacing in a time-constrained art form. However, although things are happening very fast, I feel like some of the things are so subtle that I can really enjoy it. The relationship between Harry and Draco is really growing on me, actually. They're bonding through hood, which is really weird. They just had the giant fight in the kitchen, as I said, and Draco is sitting here lecturing Harry, and he's being completely honest with him. He's being very vulnerable. He tells him that he was very jealous of Granger and Weasley and their relationship because it looked like fun. That just makes me think, what if they were all friends? What could they have done? But Draco understands that loneliness created Tom Riddle and turned him into Voldemort. Just admitting that shows that Draco's just over this whole Death Eater thing, and he just wants his child to be happy because he understands what he didn't have in his life. But now Harry is the one, you know, that we always followed, that we always thought was the perfect protagonist, which JK kind of went away from in the later books, but still not enough so that we didn't idolize him, you know. But now, as a parent, we're really questioning him as a character and as a parent. And we're seeing Draco, and you know, we always kind of wanted to hate Draco a little bit, but you can't. You just can't. He knows what's going on. He sees it. He sees it like we do at this point. He is our spokesperson as a reader. That's really powerful. And I think it's great that Ginny doesn't have to say anything. You know, people in family, they say, oh man, you're a great guitar player when you've been playing for 2 days. They're just being nice. So if Ginny were to come and say, Harry, you know, you need to do this, and like lecture him on this, he might take it with a grain of salt and not believe it. But she just stays to the side. I don't think this has anything to do with gender roles or anything. She hasn't been a particularly strong character, but she does admit that, you know, she was jealous as well. And Draco says all these things, and then Ginny's like, he's right. And just Ginny saying that Draco is right, and Ginny being able to do that and being the voice of reason, serves as a really heavy weight for Harry. I think it's awesome. I think that whole dynamic and that whole scene and all of it is just really fulfilling to read, and I like it a lot. He said always. So Albus and Scorpius got in a big fight in the library and started yelling at each other, and of course had that big falling out that always happens to any pair of best friends ever. And then quickly the turnaround and the apologize, and McGonagall choosing not to see them, which was pretty funny. I love McGonagall, man, she's awesome. So Scorpius says after Albus starts apologizing, Albus, as apologies go, this is wonderfully fulsome, but you're starting to talk more about you than me again, so probably better to quit while you're ahead. Albus says, friends? Scorpius says, always, dude. That's awesome. See, I don't know, just that little word, it's so obvious. That's a throwback, but is it too obvious? I don't know. By myself, I think it's kind of cool because it harkens back to the theme of love, you know, between Snape and Lily, Hermione and Ron's interaction on the Hogwarts steps when he goes to sort out Panju and his mustache. Breaks my heart. They're very unhappy without each other. It makes me feel better about what they had, you know? And I think that's what the story is about, is, you know, you don't know what you had until you lost it. It breaks my heart. So I like how some of the scenes end with more of a bang than the acts do themselves. We just got a pretty big plot twist when Scorpius and Albus go and raid the second event in the Triwizard Tournament and, you know, make Cedric kind of fall up. Albus is gone. Harry died in the battle. Scorpius is all alone. Albus had the time turner, right? What are the implications? I don't know. This time turner stuff has turned everything on its head multiple times at this point. It's time for part 2, and stuff has gotten at its all-time low. Umbridge is the head mistress? They did this because they know how much everybody hates Umbridge. Not a bad decision at all. And the part with the Dementors coming from the audience and sucking the life and saying this is hell, and the serpent banners falling on the stage, that would be a really powerful moment in the live production of this play. I would be really excited to see that. It really seems to kind of set the tone for how bad this is. No wonder the time turner is a legal thing. But at the same time, it's pretty awesome to play with and like read about, you know? And how are they gonna come back from here? Is this the only conflict? Is this as bad as it's gonna get before they start taking some action? Personally, I would like to see it get worse. I don't want to see them just kind of come back from this problem and resolve everything so easily. There's gotta be something longer here. I don't know. I don't want this to be a standalone thing. Not just because I want more, or anything like that, which is true, I do. But I think if you make such a quick turnaround, then it really just kind of loses its power because you're trying to fit it all into a single book, you know, into a single play. Which unfortunately and frighteningly, as I progress through the script, I am aware that plays have a way of coming together in the end. At least conventional plays do. They have, you know, the complete cycle and they come back to good guys win in the end. However, I don't want this to be the case. I don't. I want things to end how they feel at the end of part 1, where hell takes over and Voldemort is winning. I kind of want that, but I know I won't get it. I know I won't get it. Will that make this a bad story? Have to keep reading to find out. Ultimately, I know I will enjoy it, but will I agree with what, you know, the whole thing has become and turned into as a unit and as an extension? Because everything else got so much time. It got 7 books allotted to it and 8 movies for us to live through. We got to spend a lot of time with those characters and with that entire story arc. To shorten that arc back into one standalone play and piece of art as an extension onto that same world and not just a spin-off, that's what kind of has me worried at this point. And maybe that's just a part of the plot, the meta plot that's like outside of all of this. It's affecting the story, but it's also affecting me in the mind. Maybe they thought about this. I don't know. We'll see. Sleep update number 2. It is now 4:41 in the morning. I don't want to stop. Probably go to sleep. But at this rate, I can finish by 8, I think. I don't want to stop. So I'm not going to stop. Plus I haven't even finished my coffee yet. Why would I stop? Good stuff. Scorpius knows what to do. Goes right to Severus Snape. My man. Severus has maybe been my favorite character all along. Cause no matter what, he's a good guy. Check him out, dude. He's already got a place figured out in the Whomping Willow. He sticks to the plan so hard that it takes Scorpius a lot of energy to get him to reveal his secrets, and he still has trust, dude. Snape is just like the smartest guy. I respect him so much, and I just think he's a great character. And he's got a buttload of people in the Whomping Willow, dude. We've had to move many times. Everywhere we've settled, they've destroyed. This will take us to a room hidden in the roots of the Whomping Willow. Okay, who's we? Oh, you'll see. Ooh, he got a plan. He making an army. Snape coming in for the win again. Aw, dude. So they go back in time and fix the first Triwizard event, and then they come back. Ron's arm is broken. He's freaking out like Albus did. And then they're about to sacrifice themselves to the Dementors, and Ron's like, oh, I'll just stay with you because my arm hurts a lot, but you know, I actually like you. And then they have this mushy moment where they kiss. Oh man. They're like, ah, oh, we could have a daughter and a son. And Hermione's like, kiss me, you fool. Except she doesn't say you fool. But we all know. It's cute. It's cute. And we're happy again. And we're happy. So we are on Act 3, Scene 12. A very interesting section and excerpt. Dream Godric's Hollow Graveyard. It's when Harry and Aunt Petunia are at Godric's Hollow Graveyard. And it's really cool to actually see some insight with the Dursleys, and especially this moment when Petunia is moved to some tears. Just to kind of see that emotion towards her sister, and maybe it just shows that she's in this everlasting state of denial about what has happened to her sister. The very, very interesting part to me is what happens when Voldemort comes from behind the grave, and then Albus reaches out from his cloak and tries to reach for his dad. It doesn't really say what Harry does in that moment. He kind of disappears and Voldemort takes over, but he's reaching for his dad as though he needs him. And if there's anything about Harry's dreams, is that they kind of come true most of the time. There's some kind of element of truth in them, of predicting the future and that kind of thing. So what this gives me hope for is that we're in the 3rd act now. We're not really that close to the end, but like we're in the middle of it. They're gonna turn Albus into something dark. He has to become dark. They're foreshadowing it so much. Right before this, they sorted the Time Turner mess out, and it seemed like that arc was kind of coming to an end. When that arc comes to an end, everything was good, peachy clean. Professor McGonagall was a little upset, but alas, everybody's fine. Voldemort has now taken over. But right as things are coming down, we see this dream, and there's still some murky stuff afoot. It gives me hope that stuff still has to get darker, but it can't be redeemed by this much that's left of the book as compared to how much we've read here. I'm getting this sense that it will have to go further. As you can tell, this is my main concern with the whole thing. And it, it was right as Harry and Albus were getting along. Harry was a little mad because he's got to be a disciplinary father, but they were coming to an agreement of sorts. They're working towards it. Where's it gonna go? Okay, so I want to throw out another prediction again. So the two boys are missing from the Slytherin dormitory. They have gone to the Owlery to dispense the time turner. All of a sudden, Albus is like, yo, Delphi is gonna come and show up and help us destroy this because she's a part of it as much as we were. My prediction is that Delphi is gonna freak out, yo. I haven't read on yet, but she's being super sketchy. She gets emotional. She's all for it. It's a little too much. I'm gonna predict that she steals it at the last moment because I know this has to get worse, and I know she wants Cedric back. She can't let that go that easy. All I have to say is butts. Just big butts. I knew it. I called it. Delphi's been evil the entire time. However, the augury, or however you pronounce that story and tattoo idea in her background is pretty cool. I dig it. Cool villain, cool villain. Let's see if this takes a turn for the cheesy or contrived. I'm not sure. Augury breaks the time turner. Scorpius and Albus are stuck in time, and they figure out that Augury is actually Voldemort's daughter. I think I called that from when they said the Rowles, R-O-W-L-E-S, took her in because they were Death Eaters, but they weren't her parents, which means they were watching over her for somebody else, which would only make sense if it were Voldemort, I suppose. It could make sense other ways, but the story needed to fill that hole, and now we know that Scorpius is not that child, but the child still existed. It makes logical sense, and we could have seen that coming. It is a little bit of a twist, but it's not undeserved. So that's good. However, I do kind of have concerns because supposedly Albus has that dark aura around him. I still am not sure if that's been defined quite yet. Albus still has a part in all of this. He seems to have turned to the light side to try to help all this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little tired right now because the light's coming up in the background. I have successfully reached Act 4. We're heading into the home stretch here, and somehow I'm sure they're gonna stop Delphi. Or Augury, whatever we want to call her now. And then everybody will come to a mutual understanding and everybody will be happy again. Can we just mention this Star Wars reference real quick? Dumbledore tells Harry that he loved him. Harry said, "I loved you too, Dumbledore." Dumbledore says, "I know." Sly. Real sly. So day has come and I am done with this play. I won't do a full review, but I'll just sum up the end real quick and what I thought of it. So it did end on a very happy note. Everything is all wrapped up perfectly and in a nice little neat bubble. It ended up being the story that I kind of expected a little bit. It was still entertaining. I didn't make as many entries or commentaries on the ending half of the book because it was filled with a lot of action and not a lot of character development or anything like that. It did develop. Harry and Albus got closer. Draco and Harry got closer. Ginny had some more lines. But it was all kind of, what you expect and what you need to happen for a narrative to kind of come together and form a satisfying conclusion. I will not say too much more. My thoughts have not solidified yet. I'm extremely hungry and it's time for bed. I will leave my review for another moment in time, and I will see you guys when I make that. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Have a good read. Goodbye.